webinar. We really appreciate your attendance. I assume we all know each other now, but I will very quickly just introduce again the speaker, Oriana Lozada, who took us through the first session last week on Tuesday. She is a social communicator and has experience in digital media and marketing. I also would like to introduce, I don't know whether Antonio is in, Valini. He's a patient. Please, wave so that everyone can see you. He's a patient with Hemophilia B. He's a volunteer in the Argentinian National Member Organization and also a volunteer of the WFH and coordinator of institutional relations of the Coalition of the Americas. In addition to this call is Cesar Gerardo, who has two sons with Hemophilia A. He's a member of the WFH Executive Committee and has over 14 years active experience in volunteering, chairing, and co-chairing several committees. We will be expecting soon Dawn Rotalini. She'll be joining us. Oh, you're there. Okay, welcome, Dawn. She is the Chief Operating Officer of the National Hemophilia Foundation in the USA, and she serves in the WFH board as a volunteer. We are also going to have Salome Mekozla joining us later. She is the WFH Director, Regional Development, and she supports the 7 regions within the WFH. We also have our 3 regional managers here. That is Fernanda Geiger, who's the regional manager for South America. Miguel Izquierdo, regional manager, Central America and Caribbean. And I am Irene Chami, who's the regional manager for Africa. Thank you all for making it. So just very briefly, last week, we went through the first part of this active communications webinar, and our focus was talking about communication strategy, the importance, the skills, and the channels. And I'm sure that most of you must have interacted with Oriana offline, on WhatsApp, on email, just doing the assignment. And I hope that that was a really, fruitful and beneficial exercise for you. So today we are going to go to the part 2 and final part of this webinar, and its focus is on digital communication, just looking at the ecosystem, the strategy, and how to use different digital communications. At the end of this training, we would really appreciate your feedback. So what is going to happen is, in a couple of days, we're going to send you a link to be able to fill in the evaluation questionnaire. And it will basically be an evaluation of the 2 sessions that you have undertaken. Before we close and after the training, we will have a word from Salome, Antonio, and possibly Dawn, if she will be on the call, just to say their final remarks before we conclude the webinar. Thank you all. I would like to now take this opportunity to invite Oriana to proceed with the training.
Hi, thank you, Irene, for the introduction. Hi, everybody. Thanks for being part of this again. Thanks for connect. I think it's really important. I know that a lot of you is having too many Zoom invitations, so it's really important that you find this opportunity to learn more about digital communication. So thanks for that. So I would like to know, how do you feel today? Are you excited? Do you feel curious to understand more about digital marketing? Can you please share how do you feel today? Writing on the chat will be really important for me to understand how do you feel. Do you feel good? Do you feel happy? So please share with me on the chat. I would like to read. Okay, I'm reading here. Let me read. Happy, yay, perfect. Thank you for sharing. So the first that I would like to ask in terms of the topics, it's what do you feel with all the information that we shared last time? What do you learn? So now we can share a poll, and Miguel, in order to ask to the team, how do you feel? How do you learn about the class? What was in the top of your mind during all this week after we have our conversation? So you can vote. I think Miguel already shared the poll. So yes, you can share your answers. I will vote too. Good. Are you voting? Good, good, good. So think, how many things do you learn? Which one were all these things that you say, interesting to understand, interesting to know? So can we share the results, Miguel?
Yeah, just give me,
Okay.
can we give them a little bit more time because we only have 11 answers out of
Okay.
18. So,
Voting, voting.
well,
Yeah.
yeah, if you want, I can start sharing the
Okay.
results.
I'm really curious to know.
Okay. And now.
Good. Wow. I can't believe this. It's my favorite answer, actually. For me, it was really important that all of you understand that all of us can be good communicators if we have a strategy. I'm very proud. Yeah. Good. Perfect. That sounds really perfect. So let's begin now that I am really happy that you learn what we have to learn. So I will share with you, to begin, a survey that Facebook made during the pandemic. They asked to their users, what are those human fears that they feel a lot during the pandemic? So on this survey, the responses were, first, the people is really afraid of failure. After this, the people vote about public speaking. Again, during the pandemic, the people it's really scared about public speaking. And the other one was the innovation. The people during this pandemic is really scared about innovation. But why? Because this situation represents for all of those a change, something that we have to change in our life. So one of the things that we have to change in our life, it's our way to communicate. And one of these is the digital innovation. So what I want you to feel about this is that yes, we can be scared or we can feel the fear about the innovation. But however, we need to understand that this is the part of the human and this is the part of the progress. So feel free to, yes, you can feel that fear about the digital innovation, but if you have a strategy, because I knew that you already learned that, you can live this process in the best way possible. So why people feel so scared and feel fear with the digital innovation? Well, first, because it's something new, and everything that it's new for us is like a little bit scared. After, everybody could see our performance. So it's something public. If we are performing well, the people can see. If we are not doing well, also the people can see. So that's create a deep fear. Another stuff why we feel fear for the digital innovation is that we are expecting immediately results. So we have the idea, thanks to all this viral content that we create, that the success on the internet is really fast, that have to happen immediately. And the people think that they don't need a strategy and they don't need to do something special. I think this is really important because everybody can share a message, everybody can share a photo on Facebook, and everybody thinks that can do a good digital communication without a strategy. So I am here to make you know that yes, we also need a strategy for digital communication. And also, it's important to make you understand and that the people have a lack of communication strategy. So that was the idea that I was mentioning. So people think that they don't need a strategy to communicate in digital. So Talking about that, I would like to show you now the benefits of the digital communication. So first, we have a global reach. So someone from Panama can talk with someone on Mexico or in Ghana or maybe in South Africa. And that's really interesting because we can share that knowledge and doesn't matter wherever you are. That means that if you have a message, you can share with all the people around the world, and that's really important. So the second thing that it's really interesting about digital communication is that it has to be personalized. And what we mean with personalization? Well, when we talk about digital, we can create different messages depending of the target that we are looking to connect. So in traditional marketing, or maybe if you're going to make an advertising on TV, you create just one advertising for everybody. But in digital, you can talk with the families, you can talk with the kids, you can talk with the women, you can talk with men, you can talk with different kind of people depending of their ages, their interests, and also you can segmentate and personalize that communication. So that's really interesting about all the digital communication. And also, a great news for you is that there is always someone searching your topic on Google. So at this moment, someone is searching on Google about the hemophilia. Imagine that you are not there. You are not in the virtual world on Google. So now that we understand that every time, every minute, anyone in any part of the world is searching about your organization, is searching about your condition, imagine what you can do now that you know that. So it's important to understand first, we have global reach, personalize that communication, and it's important to be there. So in order to introduce you to all this ocean of digital information that you have, I would like to mention that when we talk about digital medias or digital strategy, we have a lot of options. The good idea of this is that we can choose any of them depending of what we want to create, depending of what we want to communicate also. So I have a good news. We don't need to be in all of these channels. That's a good part. We don't make effort for each of them. But what we need to do is to understand in which one we need to be. So for me, and I already read your assignments, your homework, and I read that you have more needs in some of them. So I prepared this presentation in order to teach you in a few of them. So the first one that we will talk, it's about the social medias that are really important. Also about WhatsApp or Telegram or any kind of app for messages that you have. And also about Zoom. For me, it's also important to let you know that one of the most important part of this communication is that you always include websites or blogs on your digital strategy. Why? So yes, you can you don't need to have a TikTok or an Instagram account, but because you have Facebook, or you maybe don't need to create a YouTube channels. But what you really need is to have a website. Why? Why we need to have a website? Because the first thing is that the website belongs to you, to your company. You don't depend of Facebook if they decide to delete all your information, of someone stole your information or hack your account. So if you have a website, it's yours, it's your website. So it's important to have your website because this belongs to you. Also, this will appear on Google. So remember that I mentioned that every time someone is searching your topic on Google, so you need to be there. So the website is like your physical local space that you need to be. So make sure that the main content of your digital strategy has to be on the website. After this, we create ways to communicate the information that is on the website. And those channels to communicate what is on your websites are social media, WhatsApp, Zoom, email marketing, or YouTube. That sounds good for you? That makes sense? Please share with me your thumbs up if you understand. Good. Thanks for the feedback. So let's go through WhatsApp. So I will read a few options and things that you can do. And if you have any question about WhatsApp, you can ask me on the chat. So first, WhatsApp or Telegram or any option that you have for iMessage, if you use this one, it's the most direct and most frequently used digital medium. Why? Because we're every day chatting with someone. We're sending messages with people. So this is the most directly and frequently social media channel. So it's important to be there. The second thing that is really important about WhatsApp is that you create a database. That database also belongs to you. Do you remember that I mentioned that if Instagram or Facebook decide to close their website, you lose all the followers? You lose your fans? Well, if you have the number, if you have the contacts, that belongs to you. So it's important to think about WhatsApp because all this information about your contacts belongs to you. So please make sure to always have a database and use it via WhatsApp. Also, you can create WhatsApp groups. This is something that may you know. And you can create in those WhatsApp groups a workshop with assignments. So it's interesting how you can share information with your audience just with a voice note. You can also create a workshop about communication, and you can send to your community, what do you learn about communication? If all of you want to share after this presentation with your teams about this activity, this meeting, you can do it via WhatsApp. And it's really interesting because you can record a few voice notes with a recap of what we talked, and they're going to keep for them. So it's an important way to communicate with your people, and it's really easy because you have in front of you. So you don't need to do nothing else. So another stuff that I think it's really great, there is another app that is Telegram. I'm not sure if you use on your countries. Good, yeah, Irene is confirming. So in Telegram, you have the option to create surveys. For me, that's really interesting. Why? Because it's a way to understand what people think about what you are commenting, what you are sharing. So I hope that WhatsApp include this option soon. But anyway, you can use via Telegram. Another thing that I really love about WhatsApp, it's the idea of the broadcast list. Do you know what is a broadcast list? Can you confirm with me if you know what is a broadcast list? No? Okay, I will show you what is a broadcast list. So imagine that you have an audience, okay? And you want to split or personalize that audience. So you can create a broadcast list that you will find in your chat profile. It's just on the top. And they say broadcast list, you click there and you create different audience depending of what you want to communicate. So imagine here, I make different groups. I create family members if you want to communicate to your family members. I create one for patients who were 25 to 40 years old. After, I create a doctor's list, and another for patients that are more between 12 and 16 years old. So this doesn't work as a group, as a WhatsApp group, because the message go directly to their private chat. So you don't need to put them in all the same group when everybody will share information. You can create personalized listen, and you can share the information with all of them. So after you create the broadcast list, you can make different groups. And after this, you can create the message and send to them. And it's really easy because you can, as I mentioned, share information and personalize it. So I would like to introduce you this example with different targets. So imagine that you have the same objective. Your objective is keep the hemophilia conversation in the top of mind during the pandemic. But we have different targets to communicate. So what we do, we create a list for patients, we create a list for family members, and we create a list for doctors. And what we share with them, for example, for those patients, we can share how to create comfortable spaces to work at home to avoid bleeding. But now, if we want to talk with the family members, we can share a different messages. We can say them, 3 movies about health to see at home with your family. And after, if you want to create a different message with the doctors, you can create a message like apps for connect with your patients from house. Can you see that we have the same objective, but the communication is personalized? So that's the magic of the digital. We don't need to talk to everyone at the same way. Remember that I mentioned that the way that we have to create interaction, it's about connect with people, and we connect with people talking about their interests. So please share with me if you feel good with this sample. Do you think that is something that you can apply? Please thumbs up if you feel that is something that you can apply. Let me see you, let me see you. Good, good, good. Great. So now let's go with Facebook and Instagram. So the first thing I would like to share is that this topic could be a long topic and we can spend months talking about this, but I make a recap for you because I already saw your social media channels and I really like what I saw. I would like to give you a few tips and according of what I saw. So the first thing that I will recommend to you is to have great profile pictures. We need to have the best profile pictures because you are the official source. You are the official organization. You need to have the best logo. Cannot be blur, cannot be with problems of the image. We need to have the best profile picture. Also, we need to have the best bio. The bio needs to include what you do and what makes you different to the others organization. So always include not just what you are, also include what makes you unique to another's organization. I also will recommend, if you agree, if it's something that you can share, that you share the contact info. Remember that every day someone is asking or searching about your topic. Imagine that person doesn't know anything about your organization. So please make sure to add contacts. Another stuff that I will recommend is to include highlights. The highlights are those, I don't know if you can see where I am moving, but the highlights are those circles on Instagram when you keep the information or you hold the information that you post on the stories. So the highlights are opportunity for you to add your contact info at your events session so anyone can see those sessions and they will keep whatever forever. So it's important to keep the highlights because it's a way to have a session that will appears there forever. So another stuff that it's really important is the size of your image. Instagram and Facebook, if you don't know, Instagram and Facebook have the same owner, so they share the same message for the both social media channels. So the people from Instagram, they recommend that you use this measure for your images. So take note of this measure because it's the best way to communicate the message. Why? Because when the longer you have the image, you will take more space on the screen. And if you have more space of the screen, the people can spend more time watching your content. So please make sure to use this measure. The next thing that I would like to share, it's about the times that you have to post. Some people ask if they need to post every day, and it's not necessary. I think it's more important when you have quality on your post more than the frequently of those posts. So please make sure to post 3 to 5 times per week. Also, I would recommend that you use your social medias to inform your audience about those questions that they have, but also for add value. And what I mean when I say add value? Well, do you remember the magic formula that I showed the last time that say talk about the interests of your audience with your personality? Well, you have, when you add value, you need to talk about those topics that your audience, it's really matter about it. So I have an example here. I know you know your audience more than me, but I have an example that say how COVID could change your health system. So that kind of topics can help your audience to understand more about the context of the situation. So keep your communication updated about what is happening now. If you are the official channel, you have to share the official messages. So it's really important. And I will recommend for you, use the stories on Instagram and also for Facebook to share the behind of a scene of what you are doing. So the people of Instagram create this strategy about the stories, thinking, and if you are making an event and you want to share all the things that happen at the event, you're not going to make 10 posts about this. What you have to do is to share all this information on your stories, and after you create one post when you explain everything that happened during your event. So always think about the stories like something for sharing your behind the scenes, your behind the events, your meeting recaps, your activities. For example, this opportunity to talk about communication, it's a good content to share on your stories. So you can have recap, the best quote that you read, that you learn on this presentation, and after you can make a post about it. So I also would like to share a few recommendations. The source is Instagram, so I will read for you. So they say about the bio, they say, make this count, include content info if you desire, and important things you want people to know. So that's important. Think like someone that doesn't know nothing about your organization and create something for them. The highlights that I already mentioned to you, use the highlights so fans can interact with the past stories content. Remember, this is a kind of behind the scenes, and the people can share and comment about this. And also, make sure it's populated and that you are posting consistently. So it's important to keep your communication consistently. You don't need to post every day, but you need to be consistently so fans can access to the recent and historical content about you. So telling you that, I would like to repeat this magic formula that I want a capture of this. I also will share on WhatsApp with you, but it's really important that you understand this formula, because sometimes we are talking about too many things, but we are not connected with the things that are happening now. And the humans or our behavior always is thinking about the future, but thanks to the things that are happening now. So make sure to keep your communication updated with the things that are happening now. For example, do you think that we have the same conversation about the pandemic that happened 3 months ago? We are talking about the same things? No, it's the same situation. We are in the pandemic, but we're not talking about the same things. 3 months ago, we have a different perspective of the pandemic. We didn't know what is going on with the situation. Now that we have 3 months, we have a different perspective. So try to speak always of the things that are happening now. If you talk like something that people matter at this moment, you will create the connection with your audience. So I also would like to share post ideas for your social media so you can write and take note about it. So first, I found this in the World Health Foundation that they say about the emojis, International Emojis Day. So they shared this post and it says, spread health messages with emojis. So they took the International Emojis Day and they create a post with their personality and they share it to the people. So they apply the magic formula that is shown to you. So it's important that you always have to be aware of what is trending topic and talk about this from your perspective. After that, I will recommend to create posts that include messages from experts on your topics. If you are the CEO of the foundation, if you are a coordinator, if you are an expert on your area, please share information. So you can make a 15-second video with someone that is expert about any of those topics. And it's not something that will cost too much, but you will keep the conversation around the hemophilia, and also the people can see the experts on their areas. Also, a really successful post that you can do is to respond frequently questions. So create always, every month, I recommend to you that you create 3 questions that people make to our foundation or organization. So make sure always to include these 3 questions. So the people really like, because they feel connect, and also you solve a question that they have. The next one that I have for you is the idea of share important facts. So every time in every topic, we have different facts. Do you know that the 30% percent of the hemophilia patient don't know how to do this? So share those kind of facts, because the people can understand more deeply the things, and it's really easy content to read. Also, I would like to encourage to do that, add powerful influencer quotes that are related with medical and health. Find those characters or experts, and when they say an important quote about something in terms of medical or health, share that quote. Don't keep for yourself. If you are in an important meeting, in a conference, and someone of your market says something important, please share with your audience on Instagram or Facebook. The people really will appreciate that you do that. And also, I will encourage to create sessions. What is a session? So a session is something that you repeat every week or every month. So I am giving to you an idea of a session that you can create, but you can do whatever you need. So I create this session that is called Your Digital Doctor, and it's about to ask to your specialist about something. So you can create a digital doctor that always answers some question that the people have. You can make videos, and this doctor can share information, and that will create this idea, or we always have someone to ask in our organization, and we don't need to go in person to understand what to understand those questions that we have. So that works for you. Feel free to take pictures. I will share this again if you need to share pictures of this. Also, I will send it to you through the WhatsApp group. Good. So welcome to Zoom. So I know that maybe you felt like you have a lot of Zoom meetings during the pandemic, and that is true. We have a lot of meetings, but I would like to mention that Zoom is an important way to communicate that was understanding and realized during this pandemic, but it's an opportunity that I think this pandemic creates to get connect with people that are not in the same place than you. So yes, everybody's using WhatsApp, Zoom. Everybody is using WhatsApp. Everybody is using Instagram. But if you make a different strategy, could be really useful. So first, I think you can know this information. I will read for you and also share a few tips about it. And the first thing is that you can create with Zoom unique webinars and workshops. For example, if you have a congress, you can create digital, and that's something that is really interesting because you need to move all these people to get connect with your ideas. You just need Zoom. So it's important to keep in mind that you make all the workshop, webinars, and congress through Zoom. I would recommend that you don't spend more than 1 hour and 30 minutes in a presentation in order to don't get the people so like they don't want to see you again. And I would recommend also that you take this into account, that Zooms allow you to have until 1,000 of attends. So this is the premium version if you need to have all this kind of attends. But it's really interesting because imagine in a person-to-person space that you need to have 1,000 of person at the same place. So imagine all the space that you will need to have this kind of conference. Now you can have it on Zoom. So it's really interesting. So with Zoom, you are allowed to share your screen, you are allowed to make surveys, and also you are allowed to record the sessions. And what is most important for me is the idea to connect with people all around the world. So I will give you a few ideas about some topics that you can talk in Zoom with your patients. Remember, the idea of this is to create personalized communication. Don't try to put all these persons or kind of professions or interests together. So I imagine that you can create a Zoom for the patients that talk about the mental health or the healthcare check-in videos during the pandemic. You can create that kind of webinars when you create a community and with your patient about healthcare. So they can share how they feel about the pandemic, to be at home. So please make sure to create spaces that they can share this kind of topic. I know too many people is sharing information about mental health or healthcare during this situation, but imagine that you are the official source. So if everybody is talking about this, you have to be the organization, the official one that talk about this. And you can also create a webinar for that stress and staying mentally well during the time of crisis. So it's important that your patients can feel support by you, by your organization. And also, I would like to comment that in terms of doctors, if you would like to share a webinar with them, you can make this kind of ideas like following up your patients by internet. Maybe the doctors need help with Zoom. You can create a workshop just of Zoom, teaching the doctors how to use Zoom. What are those tools that they have to share information with their patient? And they will really appreciate that your foundation, your organization is the one that is teaching to them to how to use Zoom. So make sure you have to be the official source of this information. And also you can encourage them to have medical appointments. So if they need help with this, they don't know how to create this space with their patients through Zoom, through WhatsApp, you can make a webinar for them to make this understand. Telling you that, I will give you a few tips to make your Zoom webinars creative and attractive and create more interaction with your audience. So the first thing that I will share is that you have to dress for the occasion. We need to look like you have been preparing for this meeting. So imagine that you are in a meeting person to person. How could be your outfit? So imagine that you are in the same, in a conference. So dress for the occasion. The another stuff that I bring to you is that you can bring props. I have a friend that is in the picture that is a life coach, and he also teach about leadership, and he bring this idea of show props during his presentation. So if I am talking with you about coffee, if I am talking with you about write a note, I can show the items and the people can imagine the things that you have. So you give to them a little bit more of attractive props or elements that they make your presentation really different. So imagine that I am talking about medical and healthcare situations, and you can show all the implements that you need to have on your home during the pandemic. So use this kind of things to make more creative and the people feel different about your conference. Also, I would like to mention that you have to use conversational tone and invite them to participate in the chat. It's interesting what people can write on the chat, and also they share their comments. So make sure that you have a conversational tone so the people can feel in the conversation. Also, I would like to share ideas for asking in the chat that can be, where are they from, the origin, the feedback about something that you're asking. Also, it's important to ask them if they are learning about the topic that you are mentioning. Why? Because sometimes you think that the people is understanding everything that you say, but a few of them just keeping thinking about what you already said. So it's important to keep the conversation in a tone that you ask to them. Also, please include videos that will make a different experience, and also include surveys. And I would like to also mention, I think that you can think that could be an informal way to communicate something, but I think it's really important to make the communication really attractive. And one of that things are that make them move, because we have maybe 1 hour seated and we are tired of hearing something. So make them move, make them stretch, make them dance, play a song. So telling you that it's the time to stretch. Okay, take 2 minutes to stretch. I would like to, I want to see you stretching. Okay. 1, your hands, your arms, that's work for you. Also, you can include a song for the people dance. So telling you that, I would like to share something for end our meeting. And it's something that the people from BuzzFeed share with the marketing experts about those topics that make a content more viral, or they have shareability. BuzzFeed, it's a media from the US that they are really famous because they create really viral content. So their videos and their posts have millions of shares and likes. So they are expert on what people like to share on the internet. So what they recommend to us, what are those content that make us share the content and comment, and we want to say something on internet? So the first thing that BuzzFeed say is that information that support my opinion, I will share immediately. But what does that mean? Well, that means that if I think that UFOs exist or ovnis exist, and I read an article that say UFOs exist, ovnis exist, I will say, I knew it, and I will comment and I will share it with my friends. So find those topics that you know that people think about it and support their opinion. For example, I am from Venezuela, and in Venezuela we have a famous breakfast that is called arepa, and it's original from my country, but also Colombia, that is next to Venezuela, share that breakfast. So we fight with the Colombians, telling them that the arepas, it's from Venezuela. So if I read an article that says arepas, it's from Venezuela, that is something that support my opinion. What I will do, I will share immediately. I will say, yes, it's true. So things in those topics that your patient would think and support their opinion. You can ask to them, what do you think about this topic? And once that you know what they think about this topic, you can create an article on your blog, on your website that talk about this. So you can create this connection with them. Also, BuzzFeed mentioned to us that content that make us loud and get mad, it have a lot of shareability. What does it mean? So that means that all the things that make us loud or make us get really mad, we share, we comment, because make us feel something and we want to share with our friends. So think in those things that we think that it's really fun and we want to share with our friends. I know that you are an organization, you are a foundation, so think in those things. I remember that I shared with you the idea of the insights. The insights are all those things that all we share, and until someone don't talk about this, we didn't realize. So think about those things that your patients, your doctors maybe can loud about this because they know there are situations that they all share. Also, another kind of content that have a great and a good shareability is the identity and type of content. So think in your interests, think in your country, think in your region, and when someone shares about something that is from or it's about your identity, the people will share because they feel connect. It's like, oh yeah, that's from my country, I love it. So share about share content about the identity of our patients. And also we have another recommendation from BuzzFeed that say that education and learning, it's something that the people always share. So telling you that, we can conclude with our presentation or digital presentation. I know this is a long topic. We can also talk deeply about this after your question, but for me, it's really important that you understand that you have a whole world of digital options and you need to choose the right one. But the most important is the main message that I already shared with you the last class. When you understand how to communicate, when you have an objective, when you have the different targets, when you understand those targets, you can start sharing information. I remember that I saw on your social media channels really good content, and I remember that I saw a lot of information about events, about the hemophilia and news. I would recommend you to include more information about interest, about identity, about those things that support and the opinion of your patient to make it more attractive and interactive. Also, you can share a playlist with them. You can share a read list with them. So make a little bit more interactive, create more content, more than informative content. So it's important that you understand that humans, we just not share one thing in our life when we are talking. So in the social media channels, it's the same. Don't talk about the same every time and don't use the same topics in the same way, because the people sometimes can get distracted and you lose the idea of to be relevant. So remember to be relevant, the magic formula that I shared to you. So I'm really happy to share this information with you, and we now have a space for questions. Good.